Hello, my name is Lilia Kirilenko, and in this very video, I'm going to show you how I teach students for their CIMA exams. And here we have a file where we have example how I teach students for CIMA P1. Okay, so how is the process working? I really love the technology. And actually, I believe that studying by means of Zoom, so studying online, is more efficient and more effective. Why? Well, first of all, because we are going to have access to the same file. So this means that you will not need to look at the board that is somewhere there, try to decipher what is about my handwriting and so on. Instead, you are going to open the file to which you are going to have access. You are going to open it on your computer. And if you want to make, let's say, the scale larger, you can absolutely do that. So here we go. You are going to, let's say, increase the font. If you want to go there or there, you absolutely can. If you want to solve the problem yourself, you can do that. So here we go. If for some reason you see that you are stuck, that you do not know how to attempt the question, I can help you. So I will get into the file and I will make some calculations. If we need to look something in tabular format, we're going to open spreadsheets. And everyone will be able to alter the file. So this means that we will work simultaneously. Now, I really like when files are structured. So this means that if you choose the option to study the theory and also have practice, this means that we are going to have topics that are here, like, see, there are larger topics. We are going to have subtopics, and we are going to have practice. And it will be easy for you to see which one is what. And that is the actual file that we used to work with a student. So see, well, we have practice, we have the theory, and so on. If you feel that you want to put some marks like key takeaways, which I like to do because sometimes a student can not really understand something or get confused. Like, let's say if we take break even and if we take margin of safety, do we divide by budgeted sales or break even sales? Well, then I can put this very nice emoji and highlight that these are the key takeaways. When students study with me, they do not really need to look at the shared screen. So they just open the file and they see how everything magically appears there. And I have my own file and I copy paste chunks of information and we study bit by bit. So it's not like you have this 100-page book and then you are swamped under with all the knowledge, all the information. No, we go step by step. Some students like to put their phone or their iPad or whatever beside them so that they would listen to me or look at me sometimes and they will concentrate on the screen. However, you do not really have to do it. It is okay if I'm somewhere in the background and you just look at your file. Now, what about the time management? Okay, well, you are adults. This means that you cannot devote all the time in the world to study because you have your work responsibility, you have your family responsibility, you have hobbies, you have sleep requirement. So many students want the studies with the tutor to be as efficient and effective as possible. So they choose to study theory together. And it can be beneficial to you because I will explain the theory, I will make sure that you understand it, I will give you an example, and you will not need to waste hours trying to decipher what it means, which is especially confusing if some part of news theory relates to something that you have covered 50 pages before and you completely forgot about it. Well, when you have a tutor, the tutor can say, okay, I remember we started that. So this is how that relates. Also, the tutor can show you what are the misconceptions that you have. Well, quite often our brain works like that. if it does not understand something, it kind of tries to gallop through it. Okay, close my eyes. I do not see that. So that's why many students just do not see whatever they do not understand. And the tutor makes sure that everything is covered, that nothing is missed, unless this is some minor part of the syllabus that can be skipped and we can go further if you feel that it is overly complicated for you. Okay, so as for time requirement, let us have a look. Well, usually if we talk about theory, and when I say theory, I mean that we have these chunks of theory and then we have supportive questions so that you would see how this is applied. Well, it takes something between 20 to 30 hours. I like when it takes more because this means that I will be able to have some sessions where we are going to revise something that we have already covered. Well, that could be beneficial to you because there are so many topics and these topics are so very different. Well, let's say if we open CIMA P2, for example, you have economic value added, you have responsibility centers, you have NPVs and so on. So obviously, by the time you finish the chapter, you may forget what was there in the chapter after all. So it is great when we have revision sessions once in a while. However, if you want to finish the theory as soon as possible, we can just go with the theory. So we will have practice, but we will not have these revision sessions in between. And after that, it would be nice to make this full revision. So we go chapter by chapter. Sometimes we can cover 2 chapters. Sometimes we can cover just half of the chapter. Like, let's say, if we talk about CIMA P1, variances are hard for students to comprehend. So usually we have 2 sessions to revise whatever was there. So we are going to have revision that is going to last from 10 to 15 hours. And when I give you the range, the idea is as follows. There are some people who say, okay, when I come home, I have kids who keep bugging me. I have friends who want to party. I cannot just make myself study that because I open the book and I start procrastinating. What I need a teacher who would do the exercises with me. And I say, well, no problem. And I cannot charge you because, well, if everybody could organize themselves and do the stuff themselves, then people would not attend, let's say, yoga classes for 10 years straight because you could have just opened YouTube and have done that at home by yourself. But still, people go to classes, people go to gym, people go to exercise. The same in here. It is okay if you can motivate yourself to do the self-study, but it is okay if you feel that you will be more efficient and more effective if you study with Tutor. So in this case, we're going to have some more time together. Now, as for the time span, well, the idea is like that. If you have less than 2 classes a week, the problem is that you will be forgetting whatever we have covered by the time we meet next. It is especially important if for some reason you cannot join the session, well, because you got sick or you were swamped under with your work and so on. So 1 hour is not effective. 2 or 3 classes are great. And there are some people who like to use 1 hour classes. There are some people who like to use an hour and a half. And there are some people who like to have 2 hours straight. So obviously it depends on the time span that you allow for yourself before the desired exam date. And yes, with CIMA, we just have these case studies that are set at a certain date and the rest is on demand. And it is a little bit hard because, well, you can take the exam tomorrow or you can take it in a month. So it's really hard to motivate to have this deadline. But I really like when me and students, we do actually set the deadline because it makes us more organized. It makes us to really study. So you will choose by yourself how much you would like to study. And it is absolutely fine with me if you say, okay, Well, time is not the problem. Motivation is not the problem. What I would like to do, I would like to revise. So this means that I, as a tutor, will think about, okay, so we have, let's say, marginal cost techniques. What are the misconceptions that students often have? Okay, so what are the major issues in this topic? Okay, so here we have test questions that are going to help us to cover that. And we are going to attempt this. So once again, you can choose the full scope, you can choose just part of scope. If you want to make your CIMA studies more applicable to your work life, you can ask me because, well, I have vast working experience and I can tell you how each and every part of the syllabus is used by a CFO in the work, because this is actually something that I have done, I have applied in practice. So if you want to walk an extra mile and think about your job and how whatever you're studying can be applicable to your job, well, you can ask me and we will discuss that. Well, anyways, we can work the plan that's the plan that fits you best. And I hope to see you as my student. Bye.